Ben's vision, you created this.
I guess I did. You know what? It's funny because it came on the heels of Pohl's position the year before.
Yes.
And we were talking about what's Ryan Pohl's going to do, and he was in great position. But then we realized that once Ben got here, and you and I talked about it, and we really thought about it, the head coach with the vision to really build the roster in a way that he can best utilize. Head coach is different in football than it is in every other sport.
It is.
They deserve more input and get more input when run properly than any other sport.
Yeah, it does seem like the power dynamic in baseball, for example, is with the front office right now. It's one of the things that Joe Madden continues to rail against whenever you see him do any sort of interview.
Yeah, and when you say in the NBA, it's with the front office and the star.
Yeah, I would say the star and then the front office,
yes,
and then the coach, depending on who it is. Like if it's like there's maybe a couple of coaches that still have some power, but yeah, it's the star and the front office.
But this is about Ben Johnson and what he sees and what he wants. And we last week went through all the different position groups to dial in on the ones that we think are the most impactful, the ones that you might see the most shuffling or at least have the biggest need for this offseason.
Yeah, that was a fun exercise. And quite honestly, I thought that it ended up in a position I was surprised at kind of where everyone went on some of these. And we landed for our first one. So we're going to, Alex, will you explain how you vetted this out, how we're going to do this thing? Because we're going in reverse order.
Yep.
And as far as people's concerns about where the Bears are at.
Yeah, we did our top 5 areas of need for the Bears. We're going to go in reverse order. And you guys weighed in with a number value 1 through 10 Hallis's last week. I took the aggregate of all of our scores and put them together. And we start with number 5, which got a 7.5 Hallis's between the three of us. The linebacker position, which is a great place to start because it seems like the Bears have a very big decision to make at that position with one of their current players in Tremaine Edmonds right away.
And the Bears haven't made that decision or action yet, which is a fascinating thing timing-wise that we'll discuss more with Chris Emma at 5 o'clock.
Tremaine Edmonds is due somewhere around $17 million for next year.
17.5.
And then the dead cap hit is $13 million.
But only about $2.5 million of the 17.5 is guaranteed. So if they release him pre-June 1st, they could save themselves about $15 million in salary cap money. So it would seem like something you are immediately going to do and has not been done yet.
Or is he a candidate to restructure?
Possibly. Let's listen to Brad Biggs kind of roll down what the Bears have at linebacker. He did so. Was it this morning or yesterday morning? It was this morning with Mully and
them boys.
And Ruthie.
And
that's a higher one than I think most people have thought about because
that girl.
You're saying, okay, if he's gone, what do you have in-house? And in-house, you've got T.J. Edwards currently rehabilitating from that broken leg or ankle, and Noah Sewell. What do you have, a torn ACL at the end of the year? You had Ruben Hippolyte, who barely got on the field. So linebacker is a clear need. I'd put simply because of positional value and what they've been through, the defensive line, both tackle and edge ahead of it. Then it's sort of a preference thing for Dennis Allen. Okay, do we want to look closer at safety or do we want to look closer at linebacker? They really need a defensive draft like last year's draft was for their offense.
It's Brad Biggs on the station. Look, who else is under contract, okay? T.J. Edwards has 2 more years on his contract. It would be a $10 million cap hit. It'd be over $12 million in dead cap if they cut him before June 1st. They can cut him after this year, and that would only cost him about $2 million in dead cap. So that seems like maybe TJ is safe, but what if he can't play?
That's the concern. The concern is he's had a lot of injuries over the last 2 years. Like there's been a lot of things that have kept him off the field over the last 2 years. Now, a couple of his like freak stuff. So you don't say, hey, there's a guy that's necessarily injury prone, but that break at the end of the season was devastating and heartbreaking. And you wonder, I imagine he'll be fine. But, yeah, it's something to consider.
Well, what version of him is the fine version?
Because this is our concern, dude.
Even at his best, he's not super quick and athletic. He's really smart.
Super smart.
He reminds me of like that 3 or 4 starter in a pitching rotation who just knows how to get people out.
And get people lined up.
Yeah, he knows how to get people lined up. He's an excellent leader in that way and communicator in that way. But, man, when that guy gets put in jeopardy or he gets put in that spot where he's got to choose between – what do you call it? Where you put somebody in where they have to pick.
A sharpshooter?
No.
Figure 4?
No,
Camel clutch?
where he's got to choose
Sophie
between
Choice.
Compromised position.
What's that?
Strap match?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'll figure it out. Wait, they put him in
Hell in a Cell?
conflict.
Oh.
Conflict.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they put him in conflict.
Okay.
They put him in conflict. He's
Crucial conflict. Hey, in the middle of the bar.
He's like not fast enough to go to one guy or the other guy, so he kind of stays in between. He's kind of beatable from both guys when you put him in conflict like that.
Yes, and sometimes when you look at T.J. Edwards and when he's having to defend the pass, you go, oh, that might be a mismatch. But there are other times you go, look at that guy. Like, he makes plays. He hits people. He's a good tackler.
Yeah.
Smart football player. A lot of miles. A lot of miles at this point in his career, and now a significant injury to come back from.
Noah Sewell's going to the final year of a 4-year rookie deal, so that's just a tiny bonus. It's a $1.2 million cap hit. You could clear out 1.1 if you cut him before June 1st.
I don't see any reason to cut Noah Sewell.
It's not enough. And then Ruben Hippolyte. And then there's one more guy in-house. Unrestricted free agent.
Go off.
DeMarco Jackson.
Who you love.
Here's what I love about him. What I love about him is he's fast and aggressive as hell. He will bolt through a gap and go after a running back with pretty darn good efficiency. He will also blitz from the A gap very aggressively and get to a quarterback in ways that Dennis Allen started to utilize when he had to play him. And it transformed some of the defensive possibilities when he chose to use him that way and used him effectively that way.
And he's a Dennis Allen player.
Yes.
This is someone that the DA vouched for.
For sure. But I know that's not all the linebacker position is. I don't know if DeMarco Jackson is somebody you can trust as much to drop back in coverage or to wear the green dot and tell people what to do. But I do know that he was a big-time linebacker prospect going all the way back to high school because of injury, played at a smaller school, but was 2-time all-conference and the player of the year in his conference. And so it's like, this is a guy who's been a very good middle linebacker before and showed me explosion and possibility. I want to see DeMarco Jackson given a chance.
The thing about DeMarco Jackson is I feel like when you look at the list of free agent linebackers that are out there, I don't think that he is cost prohibitive. I actually think that you could probably get him back on a deal that feels good for everybody, where he gets a little bit of a raise and you get some stability knowing that you have a guy like that. If TJ Edwards is either cut or not quite ready to come back at the beginning of the year, or vice with Tremaine Edmonds.
So maybe it's a handcuff with TJ Edwards. DeMarco Jackson you bring back as your TJ handcuff in some ways like that. Yeah, it's interesting to think about. Here's Ryan Poles from today, going through the linebacker situation to inform this conversation.
How tricky is it to navigate the linebacker position with some of the injuries that coaches sustain?
Yeah, it's really difficult. We spent a lot of time working through that process. There's some unknowns there. There's some projections just in terms of return time. And then you want to know, is that athlete going to return to be the same player he was before? Or is it, could they go downhill? So there's a lot of projections, and that make it a little bit difficult. But I think that's when you lean into versatility, flexibility, and making sure that you get the right person in the room. to make sure that that group can be filled out the best they can.
You made some big additions halfway through the season for that defense. Would you say that you started to get somewhat of a better bearing of what Dennis Allen needs to see his vision of his defense?
Yeah, when we first got Dennis in, it's really for all the coaches, position coaches, coordinators. They came in and talked about what they need, like what's the prototype. I knew from what Dennis was bringing, scheme change over the last few years, it was going to take a little bit of time to get exactly what we needed. But as you go through that season, you ask more questions. You're sitting in the weekly evals of our roster, all the way to last week here, and then go through their UFA stacks and inserting where our players line up in there, both guys under contract and not. You get more and more clarity as you go through. So I feel pretty good about that.
So that's fascinating right there and really sets a template for the offseason with all the defensive moves. It's Dennis Allen's vision. Mm-hmm. And Poles very specifically said, we knew it would take some time to get Dennis Allen what he needs as a defense.
Yeah, and I don't think that they're there yet. I think that they're still building. And if you're Dennis Allen, some of the things that you were promised walking into the job last year didn't come true until the end. And then you saw some of the cool stuff that he really, really wanted to do with having some of those pieces out there. And it all worked out great. Like the moves that they made, even like DeMarco, like him being brought in here, that ended up being a great depth piece for them. Them bringing in C.J. Gardner-Johnson, that ended up being a great player for them for the short amount of time that he was with the Bears. Mm-hmm. There was a really shrewd move. Like all of those moves, and Deshaun Wright, all of those moves ended up paying off dividends. Now, you don't expect that all of those things will happen again, and clearly they're going to lose some players. I don't think the Bears are going to be in a position to bring Deshaun Wright back next year. I think he'll end up making more money.
Whoa, you jumping ahead to corner in Ben's vision?
I was just,
my God,
I just wanted to point it out.
Did we? I thought
in
what
the
about
context
our show
of
meeting?
DA.
I mean, what up? What are we doing?
Well, it's not in the top 5, so we can talk about it.
All right,
yeah.
good. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yep. All right, it's fine. No, it's totally okay.
Totally fine. This is what happens when you guys vote on something without me, and then you guys can just do whatever you want during the segment.
Yeah,
we just have our show meeting on the air.
It's true.
That's right.
It's a true
That's
thing.
Good point. I just wanted to bring a little tension.
But seeing, that's what he likes to do.
You always do.
Yeah.
Before you go.
Yep. Buy me a Coke. All right. So yeah. When I look at the free agents that are available.
So that's the thing we're going to do in every single one of these. We're going to process what the Bears have and what the scenarios are, and then we're going to look at the options. And Lawrence has looked at free agents. Alex Kuhn has a passion for college scouting, which we'll get into in a minute.
The beautiful thing about what Alex has got now is that he's got access. All he's been doing is watching tape.
Can we talk about this?
Sure.
I don't know what you folks do out there for serenity in your life. I think Tanny goes for a walk. I'll tell you right now, sometimes I listen to beautiful music and I color. I've got a lot of beautiful colored pencils.
Adult coloring books are a thing.
Dude, it's really calming and wonderful. Alex Kuhn watches scouting tape on college football players.
And now he's got a hookup. He's watching the all 22s of every team in America, and he's got a list. He'll come in every day and he'll be like, Lawrence, guess what? Guess who I watched? I watched North Carolina State. That's a pretty good Alex, isn't it?
For pleasure. That was really good. It's the best Alex Kuhn impression we've ever heard.
Pretty good.
It's also the only one, but spot on.
I haven't heard one yet.
That was it, Alex.
That was it.
You've arrived. But yeah, man, it reminds me of when I was talking to Pat Hughes about play-by-play, and he said he learned curiosity from his dad because his dad used to read his school books for fun. For fun, he would do it.
Where'd you get in?
You're scouting for fun. So Alex has college.
I think everyone has issues,
Yeah.
Ron.
Yes, I do. Thank you, Pat, for pointing that out.
All right, so since we brought it up, let's hear it, Alex. Who do you like and why?
Well, first of all, I think it's a little bit early because remember last year when the Bears selected Ruben Hippolyte, where he wasn't even at the combine. He just runs a 4.3 940 at his pro day, and all of a sudden we're talking about him going in the 4th round, and he was their linebacker selection. So I can tell you who I like out of this linebacker core. Like, I think Sonny Styles out of Ohio State is probably the top off-the-ball linebacker prospect. But something that we discussed before the show, Lawrence, is you follow college football as well. All of these guys are hybrids. All of these guys are multiple spot players where you're trying to figure out where they fit on the chessboard, which might actually work out in Dennis Allen's favor if he likes one of them more than the other.
So when you say hybrids, when we say tight end hybrid, we think somebody could be an inline blocker like Cole Kmet or a pass catcher like Colston Loveland.
Yeah.
When we say a hybrid as a linebacker, are you talking about multiple linebacker spots?
Yeah,
Or like what are you talking about?
So like at Ohio State, the guy that could go number 2 overall in Arvell Reese, the question is he an off-ball linebacker or is he an edge rusher? I think he's more of an edge rusher. He reminds me a little bit of Micah Parsons coming out of Penn State, where you line him up on the edge and he's an elite-level pass rusher. Now, his teammate Sonny Styles has only been playing linebacker for 2 seasons. He's a converted safety at 6'4", 243 pounds, and is seen at that with that size and length as like, my God, how good of a coverage linebacker can he be at the next level?
So the hybrid linebacker might also be a safety, sort of like Tyrann Mathieu was a safety, but also ended up playing some linebacker in that way.
And in some cases, some corner. But like
there's a guy out of Pitt who was the best linebacker at the Senior Bowl, who Brad Biggs did a write-up on at the Senior Bowl by the name of Kyle Lewis, who's 5'11", 215, and he doesn't have a lot of contemporaries as at that size, but 101 tackles, 4 interceptions, and 7 sacks in 2024, and they had him lining up at like nickel corner at the Senior Bowl. Wow. So there's a lot of options here, and like you said in the pre-show meeting, Lawrence, it's going to be interesting to see how the offenses adjust to all of these hybrid-type defensive players.
The next part of this is then to go heavy. Like we now have seen at the college level, the idea of the hybrid defender. And now you go, oh, okay, so you have smaller bodies out there that are maybe a little bit faster. We used to call them tweeners, right? So now what you do is if you're someone like Sean McVay or if you're Matt LaFleur or Mike LaFleur, Le Petit LaFleur, or Ben Johnson, you go, oh, you got small guys out there. Cool. 13 personnel.
Right. Let me load up and change it.
But the issue is a lot of these guys are quick and bend off the edge. So it's hard for tight ends to block them in the run schemes, but also in pass protection. Like these guys come flying off the edge, like you saw in the playoff game for the Bears with Jaquan Brisker and Kyler Gordon flying off the edge.
So to add a layer to this, and Dennis Allen, I'm digging around and find a great article from a hardcore Saints X and O's blogger about how Dennis Allen's defenses have evolved over 10 seasons. Okay? And I'm not going to delve into all of it now, but suffice to say that Dennis Allen wants, and when Ryan Poles talks about what Dennis Allen wants, he wants hybrids. He wants pieces. He wants great athletes and chess pieces who we can use and mix around. And think about the great Dennis Allen portions of this season where he used C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Kyler Gordon 100%. And Jaquan Brisker and DeMarco Jackson as aggressive, creative blitzers, either off the edge or up the gut. That's what he wants. So, Alex, you are looking for the right linebackers. So you said Sonny Styles, Anthony Hill Jr. out of Texas is an interesting one, C.J. Allen from Georgia, Jeremiah Trotter's kid, Josiah Trotter from Missouri, and Kyle Lewis from Pitt. That's the top 5 of what Alex put together. He went 9 deep, and we'll have this and can always be delving in as we get closer to the draft. We got you covered.
Let me throw a couple of free agents at you.
Please.
Some of this is wish casting because I think they're going to be too pricey, but Quay Walker is really interesting to me. Demario Davis
Quay Walker's from the Packers is really good.
Demario Davis, that's a guy that has some experience with DA.
That's
as
a long time Saint, a
all
legend.
Pros with DA.
How old?
In New Orleans, he's 37.
Man.
I'm not talking about long term. I'm talking about a window that is open right now for the Bears to be excellent. I'd love Devin Lloyd, but I just think that you're going to have to pay too much. Nakobe Dean is really interesting. And the reason he's interesting is that he's had a ton of injuries. He also had the patella tear. But I like him for a lot of reasons. Let me throw another name on the list of another guy who has some injury issues, but I think would fit perfectly. Matt Milano would be another guy who I would love to see the Bears go after, depending on price.
Is he still in Buffalo? Mm-hmm. Okay, so Matt Milano, Buffalo. Devin Lloyd, Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm. He's a player.
Yeah. And then where's Nakobe Dean? I forgot.
Philly.
Okay. Oh, right. Of course. Okay.
Part of the Philly Bulldogs.
Yeah. The Georgia contingent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Part of that group.
So all those guys are free
C.J.
agents.
Allen to Philly, locked in.
You better believe it.
So all those guys are free agents.
Yes.
This position is fungible in the NFL. Guys move and bounce around. And when you start to win, like the Bears do, you have to make difficult choices. And I think Tremaine Edmonds is gone at $17.5 million. I think he's going to be gone.
Anzalone is going to be out there too. Malcolm Rodriguez is another one that's out there. So it's actually a pretty decent free agent linebacker class where you can find something. But I like the idea of keeping DeMarco if it's the right price, and I don't think it's going to be crazy to bring him back.
Yeah, so maybe DeMarco Jackson stays. Noah Sewell probably stays. T.J. Edwards might have to stay.
The crazy thing about Noah Sewell is I felt like there was a moment in the season where you go, he's got it.
There it is, yeah, I saw
and
it
then
too.
he got hurt. And so it's like, how quickly does he get back to there? Like, those are some of the questions to be asked.
This is, I've really enjoyed this installment of Ben's Vision. Tanny, I know you didn't vote on it, but have you been okay? You all right? Doing all right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I think Alex's serenity-based hobby
Anything to get me off Twitter.
of scouting college tape.
Anything.
I get it.
And this is, I don't know why.
It's
but
really
this is
gonna
it.
it's really gonna come in handy this offseason.